And I tell you, it's goofing about is what we're here. It's great to have you with us and
great,
goofing about the video. Kind of, as we said before, sort of that hoary old chestnut again, but sort of a Davy Byrne vibe off it to a degree as well, you know?
Yeah, I like those kind of videos when they just kind of, as I said earlier, just goofing around.
Yeah.
I mean, an awful lot, you know, the bands tend to get really serious and, you know, all that mood faces pulling towards the camera.
And here's the reason for the video, the culture behind the video.
Yeah, and the reason why we're alive is because of this moment in time, you know. I mean, of course, it sometimes is important, you know, but, you know, you got to mix it with a bit of fun as well.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. What have you been up to since you were with us last? Quite a bit?
Well, I've been touring Ireland, obviously. I played Oxygen over the festival. The summer is kind of a downtime, really, for most musicians, you know what I mean, because it's the holiday season or whatever. But I did a few of the festivals, did Oxygen here in Ireland. That was great crack. I did the Saturday, if you remember, it was like a winter's day, like it was a really strange day. But thankfully, and look on my side, I was in the tent, so it started lashing down rain about 20 minutes before I was due to go on. So the tent was rammers. I mean, I like to think it was packed because, of course, I'm so successful. But the truth of the matter is, I probably was helped by the weather. You know?
Didn't do you any harm at all.
It was great, yeah. So, and obviously we put the album out in England there about a month ago. So.
How difficult is that going to be? You're already getting airplay on Radio 2 in England, so that's a huge
that's right.
bonus.
Mark Radcliffe has picked up on it as well, and some of the BBC radio, you know, the digital channels, like the likes of Phil Jupitus has picked up on it too, and Steve Mac as well. So you know that they're big hitters and big names over there. So it's great to have that behind you. Like over here, it's like chipping away. You know, I thought when I left the band that it would be just a matter of the next step up, but I didn't realise I had to go down a few steps to come back up again. You know? And that was the same over here, and now it's the same in England. So we just got to work away at it and try and make as much of it as possible. You know, small bits, baby steps all the way.
Absolutely. Is it difficult to sort of get away from the house thing, or is there any reason to get away from it?
It takes time, that's all. I didn't realise how long it would take. I didn't realise, you know, that my name would be Dave Couse, X a house, you know. I think anyone that goes on to a solo career is always called X, whatever it was they were in a previous life, you know what I mean? But the X is now, I noticed from the press and everything, it's actually, the X is being dropped now, and I'm just being referred to as an individual.
Well, that's
finally we got there,
The ambition being realised to a degree. This time, or last time when you were in, it was on the back of the Meteor Awards as well.
That's right, yeah. I was just due to go on to the Meteors, I was there, all right, and I was actually... well, I didn't win the awards, but it doesn't matter. You're there and you're nominated, and it's great to get nominated and all that. Like, but I was actually in, and we'd barely taken our seat, and the male category was up. You know what I mean? And before I'd even sat down, I'd lost. I was going, hey, what happened?
What's going on here?
I'm a loser already.
But I mean, you're in
No, it was great to be nominated. Yeah, I mean, Damien Dempsey, I think, won that one. So, you know what I mean? But don't worry, you know, there's lots of time. You know, there's lots of more albums to come.
There's plenty to
Maybe
go.
next time round, you know. Yeah,
it's good. And I mean, the new album now. When we say the new album, it's not so new to fans here.
It's a year old here, you know, and like it's. You know, you're always playing catch-up, and in England, again, as I said earlier, it's just chipping away, and we'll start again over there. Played in the Borderline Club, which is a really famous club in England, you know. The Magic Numbers launched their career there about 2 years ago, or whatever, you know, and the Stones have played there, and R.E.M. kind of play there when they're in town, all that kind of thing. It's, you know, London's Whelan's almost.
You did it with Frank and Walters.
I did the Frank and Walters new album as well. I produced them too, and I'm producing Brenna Corrigan's new album as well. She's with the beautiful sets. She's a great singer, friend of mine as well. So kind of just produce friends of mine, really. You know? It's not something I want to get involved in full time, you know.
All right, but it's nice to be able to put the other hat on.
Yes, it is. It's enjoyable because producing is very easy. You know what I mean? Because when you're used to writing and recording and producing, that's much more of an undertaking, you know. So. You know, again, it's back to the goofing around. Like, producing is really just messing about in the studio.
You make it sound so easy when you go away. And the link then with Edwin Collins is a good fan of yours as well, and a good mate.
He is a good mate, yeah. And I was in London recently, and I visited him.
Is he all right? He's in good health?
He is, yeah. He's in great form. He's just delighted to be back and to be alive and to be healthy again and making a great comeback. And it's great to see him. And we went out for an Indian and had a few drinks and all that. Like, so, yeah, he's great. Like,
and sitting down to work with somebody like him, how do you set the parameters, or do you, or who does what?
No, I mean, we just know each other for so long now, you know what I mean? Like, we knew each other, like, from I Am the Greatest, which was our third album in 1991, and Edwin came on board to produce that album, you know? And that was the first record he had produced, so... And then he went on to have the massive hit then with A Girl Like You and all that, you know, so... You know the way, like... and as I said, like, he's passionate about his music, and he loves the sonics and how it's recorded, and he loves all the old equipment, you know, the Valve stuff, you know, and he's got a beautiful studio. A lot of people come to write in his studio, the likes of Robbie Williams and so on.
He likes the real sound.
He loves that old sound, and he created a great sound with that Girl Like You. And I think it's part of its success, and there's lots of reasons, but part of its success is the familiar sound. You know, that lovely Valve, warm tone that you get from records. It's a familiar kind of soul, it's that sound, and then, of course, the line, I never met a girl like you before, of course. And it all just clicked, and of course, Edwin's voice and blah, blah, blah. And before, I mean, he just came from, you know, from having his, like, small little studio in his in his one-bedroom apartment, like to worldwide success, #1 all over the world. So it was great, and it really couldn't happen to a nicer fella.
Well received in the US Billboard charts as well. What's next for you? What's coming up for you in the near future, touring-wise?
We're going to set up a tour over here now next year as well, and in England. You know what I mean? So hopefully now we'll get a bit more radio play in England, and we'll tour over there now next year as well. All the major cities, hopefully, and then just, as I say, you know, keep going that way. You know, do a tour here as well, and a new record. Of course. I mean, new records are, you know, what we need to survive as artists.
Well, absolutely.
You're always moving on, going forward. You know?
But I think with Radio 2 in the UK playing the song, it makes the touring that little bit easier because the recognition factor to new audiences there.
Well, of course. I mean, it's all you know. It's always the usual formula. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get gigs unless you're on the radio or unless you're in the press. You know, because the promoters don't know who you are, and so you've got to build up your reputation again. You know, so it's that step again. You know.
And of course, much bigger market, much bigger audience to crack down.
It's the same game, to be honest. Exactly the same game. It's just bigger. You know what I mean? It's just bigger numbers. I mean, there's not actually that much more to do. There's only the same amount of press.
Go along, do the
same amount of column inches, same amount of TV. You know what I mean? Apart from local TV. You know what I mean? Which obviously makes a big difference.
Is it as much fun this time round without the band, in the sense that, you know, you've done a lot of it before? It's a different you going forward, I suppose, as they say.
Yeah.
And is it as much harder? Is it easier? Is it more fun?
It is. I mean, I feel kind of privileged to have the second time around. You know, it's really interesting that it's. I mean, I've had it once. I was successful with a house.
Of course.
And now I'm making a comeback as well. So it's great. Like, you know, at my age to be my age. I swear I was 90.
No,
but you know what I mean? The second time round is great. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, you know, I'll be back in 20 years for the third time round, the third invasion.
No doubt we'll still be here. I have a life sentence here. And you're going to play something for us now.
Yeah, I'm just going to play. I've got a new single called Celebration.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just. This is the acoustic version of it. It's a big, loud, noisy song, and as I said, it's very early in the morning, so I just take a little sip of water.
Work away, mind your voice in the high notes.
So will I just start now?
Yeah,
I will. I'll give you a blast anyway.
Brilliant.
It's a short while, but a short time is enough time in the hands of a man with plans to take this life to the last breath. Love's got a big part. There's still hundreds of things to be done. A celebration, celebration, celebration. Celebration, celebration, celebration. Let's celebrate. Is there cancer in my genes? A heart attack around the corner. Out with the old, in with what's new. There's a new order, luck's got a